Welcome to another 10-minute episode of Everything Sports with Aman and Evan. I'm your host, Evan Garber, and today we're going to be going over the Giants not tagging Saquon Barkley as well as the other NFL moves that we did see today, Tuesday, March 5th. But before we get into it, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms so you don't miss out on any of our content. Of course, the 10-minute episodes here on YouTube, the shorts almost daily, and of course, longer episodes on the weekends on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So make sure to follow us on all the platforms so you don't miss out on any of our content. But the Giants, they are now moving on from Saquon Barkley. They will not place the franchise tag on him, which I think is a little bit interesting. I would expect them to because he is basically their whole offense. Offense is obviously not very strong. And you lose your best player on that offense now. I'm not sure which direction they're trying to go. They're not in a great position to necessarily draft a top quarterback in this year's draft, so I'm not really sure what they're trying to do here. Maybe they're trying to hit the reset button and finally, I don't know. It's kind of weird because you would think that if they were going to set the reset button that they would have traded Saquon Barkley for something, but I don't know. Who knows what's going on in New York? But Saquon Barkley this past season, 962 rushing yards, 280 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns in 14 games, and now he joins the likes of Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, and Austin Eckler, an absolutely loaded free agent running back class. And what's really insane about all these running backs is that every single one of them is 30 years or younger still. So they still have some great years left in them. Derrick Henry, of course, probably the least likely to have some good years left, as he did slow down. Same like Austin Eckler did seem to slow down this past season, but all those guys are still pretty solid, pretty quality running backs that can definitely help out contenders. We could see teams like the Ravens, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Eagles, and the Texans. They could be in the market for any of those guys. Of course, the Eagles, but now without DeAndre Swift, and the team like the Raiders, maybe without Josh Jacobs as well. They could all use a different running back, assuming that they do lose their running back that they had. But it's definitely interesting to see now the market for running backs. Of course, last year we saw what happened with those running backs, but this year it'll be interesting to see now with 5-6 quality names in there. Are we still going to see the same thing as last year where teams hold out on trying to pay their running backs? They don't really want to pay their running backs a whole lot of money, and then we end up seeing them going to training camp, and they're still not signed. I hope that doesn't happen for a lot of these guys, but it seems like the running back position is not as important as it once was, which is kind of interesting because some of the best teams, like the Niners, they have an insane run game, which is why they're very, very good. CMC, obviously, is the best running back in all of football right now, and he is a huge, huge part of that team. If it wasn't for CMC, they probably wouldn't be as good as they are, or as good as they were this past season. They probably wouldn't have made the Super Bowl. So, yes, these guys aren't CMC, but the running back position is still a very, very key part of this game. I'm not really sure why it is that we see these running backs don't get paid very much. I mean, maybe it is that you can go find a guy in the draft that's going to give you some quality playing time at running back, so you can worry about positions more, you can worry about quarterback more, you can worry about receivers more, and pay those guys instead of paying the running backs. But I know all these guys had down season. Josh Jacobs had a down season. Tony Pollard had a down season. Eckler had a down season. Derrick Henry had a down season. But all these guys still can play some quality football. And DeAndre Swift, he had a pretty great season this past season with the Eagles. Of course, that O-line is absolutely insane. So that definitely helped them out a little bit. But these guys can still give you very quality playing time. I'm not really sure why you wouldn't want to pay them. I mean, maybe don't want to pay the price tag of whatever it may be. But these guys are still very quality players. And hopefully we do see a good market for them. Like I said, the running back class this year is not exactly the strongest. I mean, guys like Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, and Braylon Allen, they're the top of the running back class this year. And none of those guys are like Bijan Robinson like last year or any huge stud. I mean, obviously they're really solid players, but I'm not sure if all of those teams that need a running back can be willing to take one of those guys when they can go out and get a Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, John Swift, whoever it may be. So we'll see how that market plays out. But we also found out that Josh Allen of the Jaguars is being tagged, which doesn't come as surprising at all. Definitely saw that coming. It's a huge part of that Jaguars defense. See if they can work out a long-term deal. Jalen Johnson, he's being tagged by the Bears. Of course, he had an amazing season as well. I don't remember off the top of my head if he was All-Pro or not, but or even Pro Bowler, but he had a great season this past season. One of the few bright spots of that Bears team this past season. Jalen Johnson is staying with the Bears. We'll see what they do in the draft, with their draft picks. Of course, we're expecting to get Caleb Williams, but after that, what will they pivot to? Will they go out and get a receiver? Will they trade up for a receiver like Marvin Harrison for Caleb Williams, or will they not? We'll wait and see for that. But one of the more surprising news of the day is that the Seahawks are cutting Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs, and Will Dissly. Definitely comes as a surprise, especially for guys like Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. Yeah, they had down seasons, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I feel like it's more of a cost thing for the Seahawks rather than saying that, oh, these guys are terrible or anything. Jamal Adams, we could see him pursued by the Cowboys, Eagles, or the Ravens, who definitely need some safety help on those teams. But Jamal Adams, he had a down season last year, 9 games, career worst year, allowing 80.6% completion rate and 111.7 passer rating. But this is coming off a torn left quadriceps tendon, which he was out for part of the season, I believe, at the beginning, and then set him out for toward the end of the season. So definitely some injury concerns there for Jamal Adams, but we know what he can be, and I assume this offseason will help him a lot. This offseason he'll recover a lot, and he'll be not exactly back to form as he once was, but definitely better than he was this season. So Jamal Adams could be a very quality get for some contenders that definitely need some safety help. I would assume the Cowboys are going to get him, let's be honest here. Just seems like a Cowboy type of move to do. Quandre Diggs, he also released, but he could see some interest from similar teams. 17 games, 1 interception, but he also had a down year. He made the Pro Bowl the past 3 seasons, but did not make it this past season, and he allowed a 63.9% completion rate and a 103.9 passer rating. Again, probably going to see similar interest from the Cowboys, Eagles, Ravens, or seems like that. They need some safety help. Definitely still has some brighter days ahead. Like I said, he did make the Pro Bowl 3 years in a row, had 1 down season, so that wouldn't worry too much if you're going for Quandre Diggs. He's probably going to bounce back and have a near Pro Bowl season like he did the past 3 years. And then Will Dissly, he is now being cut by the Seahawks, and he could be targeted by some teams that need some tight end in depth, like the Niners, who were looking for it last year, and I think it would definitely help George Kittle out. They can get some tight end depth. Charlie Warner and whoever else they have is not bad, but they didn't get a whole lot of playing time, and I think it would be nice for Niners to run some 2 tight end sets. 17 interceptions, 172 yards, and a touchdown this season. So solid for a backup tight end, but nothing crazy. And then the final news of the day, the Colts are tagging Michael Pittman Jr. This comes as no surprise as well. Big part of their offense. I saw it coming for sure. Of course, they finally worked out a long-term deal with Jonathan Taylor, so they hope to do the same with Michael Pittman this season or this offseason. We'll see if they can get that done, but that'll be huge for a guy like Anthony Richardson, who I believe is going to be very great. Some great flashes, so it'll be great for him to get Pittman and have Jonathan Taylor, of course, in that offense. See if he can shine with those 2 weapons. Definitely need some more weapons if you're the Colts, but we'll see what they do this offseason. Give me plenty more news coming off season for the NFL. But in terms of MLB, I will be starting my division by division breakdown on Thursday. Start off with the AL East on Thursday, and then the AL Central on Tuesday, AL West on the following Thursday, and then so on for the NL side up until opening day, which is March 28th, I believe it is. So March 28th, I will have my final World Series predictions and my award predictions, everything like that. So make sure to tune in to Tuesdays and Thursdays for all these episodes of every division breakdown, as well as the final predictions on opening day So excited. Can't wait for baseball season to start. Spring training's already been really fun, so can't wait to see what happens on March 28th and beyond for the MLB season. But make sure to tune into those and comment down below your guys' takes on NFL free agency so far and where you guys think some of these players might head this offseason.